Hey everyone!
Hello, good evening.
Again, I'm Dru.
And I'm Asehli.
We're the co-founders of Survivor Alliance, and we're here for day 18 of our 21 days of self-care. And you may have noticed that we took a couple days last week. We kind of missed a couple days, which we're kind of gonna go into that a little bit more today. It was really that, this whole past month, we launched our crowdfunding campaign October 12th. Mm-hmm. And ever since, there's a lot leading up to that, a lot of work and planning. And then we launched the campaign, and then there was a lot more work to keep going. And, like with any job, there's always work. But in particular, doing this work, which is so, touches on something that was so traumatic in our own lives that really is hard on us, and bringing that up every day is difficult. And it makes doing this work every day hard. And we're not here to be to ask for your pity or anything, but to talk about that, it's just necessary sometimes. That's why we had to take a couple days off, because we had to take a little time for ourselves.
Yeah, we took some time off. I lost my voice because I just wasn't resting. I think we both just were not taking any breaks. Mm-hmm. And then we realized we needed to take one. I don't know if you guys do the same thing. We both noticed that we do this, that we will take on a ton and be going, and then all of a sudden just crash. And I can't do anything, throw my hands up in the air. I did it at school too. It's a skill that I'm still working on, not quite there. I'm not very good at balancing things yet, but that's natural, right? I mean, we're young, we're figuring things out. So we wanted to also relate it to how, being involved in the movement, we saw the Me Too movement, and we're currently in this women's movement, this fight against rape culture. There's a lot of different movements that you can align Survivor Alliance with. And, supporting survivors, but also standing up to the perpetrators, the judicial system. It's there's so much constantly. It seems like every day we're getting more notifications about another person accused of sexually assaulting or harassing a person in the workplace, a person on the street. And it's really interesting to see the responses. I was just reading a few articles before we got started right now, and one politician in Minnesota, he was accused, and he was I'm just going to keep working because that's the way I'm going to gain your trust back. And it's he's that might have happened. It might not have happened. Okay, that's not really a clear answer. And also, I don't know, are you going to keep working, or are you going to just keep getting paid for this? We see it in the judicial system. But anyways, all of those overwhelm us and make us need to take a break, which is what we did last week.
Yes. And the whole origin of self-care came from women working in this movement of more about this than me.
That's right. With the self-care, the origins of self-care, if you look at the very first video that we did, we were talking about the history of self-care and how women of color are the ones who actually popularized it. And it's because historically, Western medicine was not good to people of color, and especially women of color. There's a lot of history about how the first birth control methods were used on them and caused death. They caused all sorts of terrible side effects. And not to mention other reproductive studies were done on women of color, especially Black women, with no anesthetic. And so just kind of way too many detailed examples maybe of why Western medicine wasn't good to women, especially of color. And they decided to practice self-care because they found that by taking care of themselves, they can practice wellness. They don't have to go to the doctor. They can take care of themselves within the community. We especially saw this during the activism movements in the 60s and 70s, where a lot more people started doing women's health clinics in their local community, where they knew they would be getting the treatment that is best for them. And self-care was their way of doing preventative medicine, so they didn't have to get these really serious operations, and they could avoid the Western medicine altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's founded in activism, basically.
Yeah, great summary. You remember those details way better than me. But to tie that back into what we're trying to talk about now is self-care is so important. This whole Me Too movement has brought up so much of it's making us more aware of all the sexual harassment, assault, rape culture that's everywhere. And so now we have to do something about it. Just bringing awareness to it is not enough. We're at this turning point that now we have to do something. We have to start talking about this more, getting more involved in our community, having those difficult conversations. And these are all very draining things. That's why, why we had to take a break last week, because we don't always give credit to the fact that some activities might not be physically draining, but they're very emotionally draining and energetically draining. And if you continue to do those sorts of things, and if you want to take these steps to make this world a better place, it's going to drain you a little bit. So rather than powering through it like we tend to do, it is really important to take breaks within that and take care of yourself. Because then also, if you're trying to take care of others and you're not taking care of yourself, it's really hard to do that, to teach others authentically if you're not coming from that place, which is, again, where I was feeling last week. So, but now we're both feeling more recharged.
Yeah, for sure. I think also just maybe a lot of you experience this with the holidays. I have a lot of anxiety going into the holidays. I know that my family and I, we kind of sometimes butt heads. They're more racist than I thought, honestly. And so we're navigating that territory right now. But yeah, it's just really stressful leading up to it, going through it. It seems like you just kind of are stuffing your face to get through Thanksgiving. And it was great. I mean, in the end, I feel like I came out recharged, ready to go, and probably a lot of you did as well. And just this whole crowdfunding campaign, we wanted to talk about how stressful it was for us a little bit. Leading up to it, we were creating all these graphics, all these content, trying to get everything done in this deadline we set for ourselves. And then, it's kind of up in the fate of the community, which is really beautiful, but can be a bit intimidating, because you have a lot of verbal support, and then we're just seeing who can also support us so that we don't have to work 2 jobs each. But that's totally cool. No big deal. We're going to keep doing it. No big deal.
Both moving.
Yeah.
So another thing. But yeah, a lot of things going on in our lives, as I'm sure most people's lives right now.
Yes.
Holidays are very stressful, and we have another set of holidays coming up. So, yes.
But thank you so much for all of your support for the crowdfunding campaign. It is actually ending today, which is crazy because we did it for a month and a half and we made over $1,000. So thank you so much for all of your support. We can't wait to start implementing all these amazing things on the site. We're working on the online community, and so it'll be a way to talk about how to support each other through the holidays, through the times when you're struggling with self-care, and also provide more resources in the library. So it's really efficient for you to find different people that you can reach out to, or different methods that you can practice.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And so if you, we have probably 2 or 3 hours left of the campaign. If you want to support us before it closes out, that would be awesome. Any support is support, whether that's $5 or $500. $5 is fine. And if you are interested, one of the things we're doing with our campaign is taking pre-orders for our self-care kits. So we've been stressing self-care so much because it's really important, and we want to make it easier for you because, if you're like us, we've been talking about, it's not always easy to make time for it. So with these kits, we hope to help you carve out more time for this, make it feel less stressful, more enjoyable by giving you fun, fun little planners or workbooks or coloring pages or zines that are exciting and quirky and made by survivors and women like us, like you. And yeah, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, we definitely both could have used these self-care kits the past few weeks for sure. I lost track of self-care a bunch of times, and so we're excited to be delivering it to you. It's a lot easier to access it. You don't have to worry about making time to go to the store, especially when you're avoiding the stores like the plague. That's what I've been doing. There's too many people.
Human interaction.
Yeah. But there's a lot of ways to get involved with the community. Like we've mentioned multiple times, we are working with SF War, SF Women Against Rape. We're currently working with other organizations as well. I'm working with Missy. We're combating sexual trafficking. And it's little ways that you can get involved. A lot of people are having benefits. There's a lot of holiday benefits, I'm sure, in your area. So look into maybe organizations that you'd like to support and how you can attend a holiday benefit, or just, you don't always have to contribute just to us. I think it's all about the community and people who are doing the work together. So if you're really moved by their missions, please check them out. And it's SF War. There's RAIN. They also have a whole sexual assault resource library, and these organizations could really use your support as well.
And one I work for, or not work for, I'm a student in a class at, if you're in San Francisco, City College has an awesome program, and it will teach you, there's classes on sexual violence, like I'm taking one now, ending sexual violence, and in that class we're learning how to lead discussions and seminars where we go into college and high school classrooms and teach students on healthy relationships and defining consent and breaking some of the myths around sexual assault and recognizing signs of abuse and how to get out of that. And again, they provide more resources like connecting people to SF War or things like that. So there's so many different ways you could take these classes and then become an educator or volunteer on a hotline, or there's so many ways to keep moving this forward, or just talking to your friends who make inappropriate jokes. Like that is also helpful.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you again for all of your support. Thank you for watching and contributing thus far. We have a long, long way to go in this journey. We're going to get tired a lot more times, but we're glad that you are with us on it, and we're going to work together as a community to support each other through it. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.